to first. Now he's running to throw is just barely in time.
In a short series, you have really done your work. It's over. A soft line drive to Cromartie. The Expos advance to the championship series. It's an interesting story. That man, Jim Fanning, age 54, out of the front office, takes over the ball club in September. And for the first time, a Canadian team will be in the fight for the National League pennant. And Fanning leading his mixture of youth and age down the stretch. Steve Rogers delivering today, shutting out the Phils and delivering a two-run single in the process as Montreal wins the deciding fifth game. Veterans Stadium, 47,384 were witness. They had their year in 1980, and although some of them booed the Expos' victory today, they got
line to center field, and it is pulled in by Lewis for the sweep. The Dodgers were hot down the stretch. They had some momentum coming into the playoffs. The Reds were pretty cool in September, but September means nothing in October. So the Reds win. What do we call it? Half a pennant. The Braves a strike away from advancing, a half swing, and they'll go to Cincinnati for the National League Championship Series. On a night when the Colorado Rockies score 4 runs off the premier pitcher in the game, Greg Maddux, and have a 3-0 lead, the Braves come from behind, win the game by a score of 10-4. And with Ted Turner and Jane Fonda looking on, they'll move to Cincinnati for the first game of the National League Championship Series on Tuesday. Maddux with the win. Pena wraps it up, and Fred McGriff, the big star tonight, with 2 homers and a single, and 5 runs batted in.
Wohlers trying to save all 3 potential Atlanta wins. He got game 1, game 2, trying to get game 3. Into left field. Andrew Jones. They're going back to the National League Championship Series.
Caminetti to the on-deck circle. Finley to the plate. He's 0 for 4. Hits it to center. Langford is there. And the Cardinals have swept the division series. And they're headed to Atlanta for the LCS on Wednesday.
The shortstop, Blauser. Just in time, and the Braves are moving on against either the Marlins or the Giants in the League Championship Series. It will be their 6th consecutive visit, and they held the Astros to a 167 team batting average in this series.
The 3-1 pitch. Swings on it, and this could do it. Counsell throws him out. The Marlins sweep, and the Braves are next. Looks like this will do it. Andrew Jones calls. The Braves sweep the Cubs. It's not a wild celebration for these Atlanta Braves. A happy bunch to be sure. But this is what they came to do.
The Padres, an out away, a strike away of going to the National League Championship Series for the first time since '84. On the ground, Barris throws, and the Padres will march to Atlanta.
Deep center. Andrew Jones is there, and the ball game is over. The Atlanta Braves will have their own little final bit of Astrodome history as the Astrodome gets ready to shut its doors after 35 years of hosting Major League Baseball. The Atlanta Braves will do something that the Astros themselves were never able to do here. That is celebrate a postseason series win. The Astros, sad tale continues. They have never won a postseason series.
As long as, oh, that's hit well to center field. Finley goes back. It's over. It's over. Todd Pratt, one of the most unlikely heroes, has hit it to dead center field. The Mets have won it in 10, 4-3.
To center, Payton, and Bobby Jones has done it. A one-hit shutout, a a masterpiece. And the Mets have defeated the Giants. And they are heading for St. Louis. Two down in the ninth. 1-2 the count, and the splitter ends it. And the Cardinals complete their thorough dismantling of the former National League champion Atlanta Braves. And the celebration begins. The St. Louis Cardinals utterly, thoroughly trouncing the Braves. 3-0. By the end of the summer, you took the Giants, the Braves, the Mets, and I think many considered the Cardinals the least likely of those four to be a threat in the postseason.
And he puts it in play, a high fly ball to center field, and that's going to do it. The Atlanta Braves have swept the 3-game series from the Houston Astros. Braves pitchers held Astros hitters to a .207 batting average. Braves pitchers with a 1.73 ERA in the series. The defense was superb, only one error. And the offense hit .303 with 6 home runs. It's deja vu for the Astros again. And more postseason success for the Atlanta Braves. Headed for the LCS and the winner of the Arizona-St. Louis series.
Braves are very, very confident coming into this series. A lot of people picked Houston to win, but that is definitely not the case, and they're a happy bunch down there.
2 out, and the 2-2 pitch to Womack. Little floater, left field. Here comes Bautista. Here's the throw. Diamondbacks going to the NLCS.
Coming off the bench tonight, 3 for 3. Fernando Vina, 2 more hits and a walk tonight, and this should do it. Vina from right field, and the Cardinals are moving on. They have swept last year's World Series champion Arizona 3-0.
Tie the game 3-3, a game that was never finished. To the right side, Snow tags the bag for 1. The rundown, second out, double play, and the Giants are going to the NLCS. A smile from Barry Bonds, and the San Francisco Giants have quieted this crowd at Turner Field by turning the double play, ending the threat, and winning the game. Game 5 here in Atlanta.
JT Snow, prior to that ground ball, looking at Dusty Baker, asking, where do you want me to play him? Baker said, play him on the bag and guard the line. Benefits for the Braves and for the St. Louis Cardinals. You can unpack your bags because the Giants will be going to St. Louis tomorrow morning.
It was a tag play to finish the double play. Right now, they have not put up that second run on the board. Cal did not get to the plate before the tag was made, and all the Atlanta Braves can do is sit and wonder what's to come of this.
With 2 outs, and Hammond steps in, 1 out of 3 with a walk today. Urbina deals.
A line drive out into left field, breaking in. Conine can't get to it. Up with it, the runner's Wade. Here's the throw to the plate. Pudge is waiting. He tags him, gets knocked over, holds on, and the Marlins win the game. What a play to end it. A bruising collision at home plate to end this as Jeff Conine throws out J.T. Snow at home plate. And it's the Marlins who have beaten the Giants 7-6, and they're headed to the National League Championship Series.
Behind. And now a chance to experience something not done since 1908. You've waited 95 years, Chicago. It's time to celebrate. The Chicago Cubs advance to the National League Championship Series. Sarah Wood undoubtedly will celebrate with her husband, who more than likely has to be the MVP of this series, going 2-0. 15 and a third innings, allowed 3 runs, struck out 19 batters.
The Florida Marlins are on their way to Chicago, and so are the Cubs. And our congratulations to Dusty Baker, who brought a new kind of attitude to the Chicago area.
Another weapon. Swing and a miss, and the St. Louis Cardinals are headed for the National League Championship Series. That will start on Wednesday night. The opponent to be determined. They win this National League Division Series 3-1, and for the 7th time will play in the NLCS.
A guy who was quiet throughout the division series, Albert Pujols, with a 3-run home run and an RBI single, 4 RBIs, and winning it for the Cardinals. What a job by Jeff Suppan. 7 innings of 2-hit ball, retiring the last 14 men to face him. And the Dodgers on a classy, what a classy move this is.
Jones lifting it to left. And at long last, for the first time in their 43-year history, the Astros have won a postseason series.
It's 7-4 now with 2 down in the 9th. 2 men on. Right back to Isringhausen. And the ball game is over. The series is over. The St. Louis Cardinals have won the division series. And they'll be moving on back home to Busch Stadium to play either Houston or Atlanta starting Wednesday.
And I mean, this is what I expected from spring training, not necessarily a sweep here, but I expected the St. Louis Cardinals to win the division series, and I expect them to win the World Series. They're that good, and I think they are the best team in the National League at this point. But Houston and the Atlanta Braves obviously going to have something to say about it, but I really believe that they are the best team. And there you see the La Russa and his crew getting excited.
And the pitch. Swinging, lining it to left. It's gone! It's gone! It's gone! Wes Burke! Holy Toledo! What a way to finish! Wes Burke just purchased the ticket to St. Louis. Look at the mark! Unbelievable!
3-2 to Martinez. In the air down the right field line. Green in the corner. He's got room. And the New York Mets, for the first time since 2000, will advance to the National League Championship Series. They have swept the Dodgers 3-0. Congratulations to Willie Randolph and the New York Mets.
He talked about winning as a manager for the first time this year after all the champagne celebrations that he had, not only as a player, but later as a coach in the New York Yankees organization. He said it's more fun to win it as a player to celebrate with your teammates, but you feel like a father whose kids have accomplished something when you win it as a manager.
Before the postseason started, both New York teams were favored to advance. And now for Met fans, the right one has.
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball on the ground, the Pools, and for the third straight year, the St. Louis Cardinals advance to the National League Championship Series. This season, Tim McCarver, the St. Louis Cardinals will go in as overwhelming underdogs.
No question about it. This crowd tonight going from anxiety and gloom to glee here after the game as the Cardinals clinch it again.
And a fly ball hit to right field. Salazar is there. This should do it. And the game is over as the Arizona Diamondbacks have come to Wrigley Field, silenced the crowd, and impressively have swept the Chicago Cubs in 3 straight. The final score as the Diamondbacks advance to the NLCS for the first time since the 2001 season.
On the ground right side, Matsui to first. The Colorado Rockies are headed to the National League Championship Series for the first time in their franchise history. They're going crazy in Colorado.
They've been calling it Rocktober around here. They're going to get to rock some more in October.
He went around, strike 3, the game is over, and the Dodgers sweep.
As you said, if they win this game, they've got their rotation right the way they want it.
This could be it. Jimmy Rollins takes care of Kendall, and the Philadelphia Phillies are heading to the National League Championship Series. A date with the Dodgers is next as Brad Lidge closes the door on the Brewers, and the Phillies win 3 out of 4 against Milwaukee.
For the Rockies with a base hit. The 2-2. And Tulowitzki is down on strikes. Brad Lidge does it again. And the Philadelphia Phillies are headed to the NLCS, a date with the Dodgers on Thursday. In 4 games, the Phillies take care of the Colorado Rockies, and Brad Lidge comes up with another postseason save. That is number 15 of his career in 17 tries, and the dream stays alive for the Phillies. They advance, and the operator
for Brendan Ryan, last hope for the Cardinals, and it's a hugely disappointing experience here in St. Louis for Albert Pujols and the rest of the Cardinals. But how about the Dodgers and Joe Torre? Postseason magic, and I know they lost to the Phillies in 5 last year, Bob, but they swept the Cubs, and they're going to go in with a head of steam no matter who they play after sweeping St. Louis here. No balls and a strike. And a call strike. Dodgers have won each of the last 5 games in which they've had a chance to clinch on the road. And you got to go back to the 1965 World Series when Sandy Koufax beat Jim Cotton in the 7th and deciding game. And that's it. The Dodgers have wrapped it up. They go on the road and finally beat the Cardinals in postseason in their 3rd try.
And somewhat of a subdued celebration, at least out there on the field for the Dodgers. I think they believe they've got more work ahead of them in this postseason, but what a tremendous performance in this NLDS. Boy, if we've learned nothing else about this Dodgers ball club, you better score early against them, because once you get to the 7th inning of the ball game, they've got a slam-the-door bullpen for you.
They held the Cardinals to only 6 runs, and this is the final out. Broxton appearing in all 3 games, and when you look at the Cardinals, 4 for 30 with runners in scoring position. We go back to the beginning of the game, Bob Brenly, when you said, look, you can talk about what they didn't do, the Cardinals, but how about what the Dodger pitchers did do?
No question about it. They were able to execute their pitches in tough situations with runners in scoring.
And a chopper to third. The throw across in time, and the Giants have won the series. The Giants are going to the NLCS for the 5th time in their history and look to win their 4th West Coast pennant. And they did it the hard way, winning 2 games on the road here at Turner Field, where wins have been hard to come by for the Giants ever since Turner Field opened. Final score, the Giants beat the Braves 3-2 and capture the series 3-1. And they keep alive their dreams of their first world championship since 1954. Looking to win their first since their move to San Francisco.
Look for him to make the adjustment right here.
Ground ball to the right side. Punto has it. And running over, and the Cardinals have done it. The St. Louis Cardinals, improbable in making the playoffs, and Ryan Howard is down. He is hurt halfway between home and first base. So Howard is hurt, and the Cardinals are celebrating out around first base. Chris Carpenter with a brilliant pitching performance, but a concern for Ryan Howard here.
As soon as it came out of the box, I don't know whether he turned his ankle or if it's an Achilles problem, but no chance he could make it down to first base as the Cardinals celebrated.
A discouraging finish to the Phillies season. They put this team together to go to the World Series. Howard is hurt, but what about the St. Louis Cardinals? A never-say-die team, John Smoltz. who were seemingly out of the wild card. They were 8.5 back in September to the Braves, and they win this series in a decisive 5th game on the road.
Well, it's unbelievable. It just goes to show you when you play the season to the final out, you never know what's going to happen. You look at the highlight right here, and this is what this manager was trying to put his team in position for. Game 5, Carpenter on his back. A memorable game for the St. Louis Cardinals and a memorable moment for Chris Carpenter.
And for the first time since 2006, the Cardinals find themselves in the National League Championship Series. Chris Carpenter, on full rest, comes back and pitches a 3-hit shutout to beat the Phillies on the road in a huge matchup with 2 pitching greats. But the Cardinals prevail 1-0.
So they're not trying to just go in and out, up and down on Nigel Morgan here. They're trying to get him out at the risk of him getting a hit.
2-2. Morgan, base hit up the middle. Gomez is going to be waved around. The throw to the plate. Not in time, and the Brewers advance to the National League Championship Series.
They wanted Nigel Morgan to make an out. They didn't want to have to pitch to Braun and Fielder with 1 out. And Nigel Morgan made him pay. And he may never have a better day.
The eventual game winner in 10 innings as the Giants won game 3 2-1.
He may have felt that way. No one on his team did. They knew it was a tough play.
A swing and a miss, and Romo strikes out Roland. The San Francisco Giants will advance to the NLCS. What a comeback. The first team ever in division play in the National League to overcome a 2-0 deficit and advance to the NLCS. The Giants are alive and well in the postseason of 2012. Buster Posey with a grand slam in the 5th and a 6-run 5th inning. All the Giants would need today, the only inning. They scored a run, they win 6-4. Wow, what a ball game, what a finish.
When that came with the win, they had that big inning of 6 runs, and they fought off the Cincinnati Reds the rest of the game.
Buster Posey looks completely drained. That was so stressful there in the 9th inning.
4 consecutive innings. The Reds had at least the tying run or the go-ahead run at the plate and could not finish it off as Romo strikes out Scott Rowland. And the Giants win this best-of-5 series with a final score of 6-4 today. Romo's first career postseason save. And boy, was it ever a save. He goes an inning and a third to notch the save here today. As on the bench, those inspiring motivational speeches will continue. Got to give a lot of credit to the Giants. Coming back, a thrilling win in Game 3. Found their offense the last 2 days.
Banged out 6 runs on 9 hits today, and Buster Posey with a grand slam. The biggest moment in this series.
To Zimmerman. And this throng is deflated, Bob. There's no question about it. This has got to be one of the unfortunate scenes for a home crowd that we've seen in recent years. Foul ball out of play.
I saw the Cardinals take the wind out of the sails of the Astros fans down at Minute Maid Park when Albert Pujols went deep against Brad Lidge. That was the loudest ballpark I had ever been in, and immediately went silent. This took a little bit longer over the course of that top half of the 9th inning, but the enthusiasm that this Nationals crowd had was sorely tested.
Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes to Zimmerman with 2 outs.
Unusual perspective for Yadier Molina. He's not used to watching.
Zimmerman stays alive. He homered in the first inning. 2-run home run, also has a double.
Well, it almost seems appropriate that the hopes of the National fans are riding on Ryan Zimmerman. He is unquestionably the face of this Nationals organization. All-time career leader in every important offensive category for the Nationals.
One and 2 pitch, and it's popped up. Descalso on the outfield grass makes the catch, and the Cardinals head to their 7th NLCS since 2000. And reminiscent of the scene last year in Philadelphia when the Cardinals beat the Phillies in Game 5. And ultimately winning the World Series as a wild card team. And this time they were the 2nd wild card team and beat the Braves to get into this division series. An incredible comeback with 4 runs in the 9th inning, and the Cardinals defeat the Nationals 9-7 and win the series 3-2.
And I think we really saw the experience of the Cardinals in the postseason. They understood even down 6-0 in the 3rd inning. They still had 18 outs left to play with, and they were going to take advantage of every one of those 18 outs until they were all gone. They put themselves in a position.
Jansen out of a stretch. Big guy ready, and the 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed. The Dodgers have won the National League Division Series, and the Braves have done what they've done all year long, strike out. 5 strikeouts in the last 2 innings. The side strikes out in the 9th, and the Dodgers are being mobbed on the infield. To my knowledge, there is no swimming pool handy tonight. But they are doing what they usually do, tear the shirts off people. Juan Uribe, of course, is the major hero with that dramatic home run in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Braves somewhat stunned, still on the railing in the dugout, just looking out at the Dodgers, who are thrilled beyond thrill. The big crowd delirious with joy. It has been a while, but the Dodgers will now play either the Pittsburgh Pirates or the St. Louis Cardinals, depending how it comes out. But it is Uribe, the man of the moment. Uribe, who had struck out, grounded out, and doubled, who came up in the 8th inning with a runner at second and nobody out. And they asked Uribe to bunt to get the run over to third. He tried to bunt, couldn't do it. So they took the bunt off, and he hit a 2-run home run to win the game. For David Carpenter, no doubt the bottom of his career, but he's a young pitcher, and he and the Braves will be back, that's for sure. But all the Dodgers know is it was a struggle all year, and they have made it one step in the right direction. Couple of hugs in the dugout. Justin Upton with his arms around David Carpenter trying to console him. Reed Johnson over to talk to the young pitcher. Carpenter really just starting out, but he will carry the weight all winter of giving up the home.
He got him! A strikeout! The Cubs win! The Chicago Cubs are heading to the National League Championship Series. Since their last series win in the postseason. Now the St. Louis Cardinals, the team with the best record in the major leagues, a division series exit. Unable to overcome all of the injuries. And the Chicago Cubs.
Familia to the plate, and he struck him out. And the New York Mets have won the series. And they will meet the Chicago Cubs in the National League Championship Series. The Mets come to LA and beat the Dodgers to win the series.
You thought that the Dodgers, after Clayton Kershaw won Game 4, got the ball back to Zach Greinke in Game 5 here at Chavez Ravine. They were set up perfectly, but Daniel Murphy made sure that did not happen. Jacob deGrom with 6 gutsy innings. And
the Chicago Cubs are moving on to the National League Championship Series.
And he flies out to Peterson in center field. The 0-2 to Taylor. He's down on strikes. A 1-2 from Jansen. Turner strikes out. The throw from Ruiz, one away. Kershaw in the Dodger pen. And here comes Dave Roberts. He calls to the bullpen for Clayton Kershaw. The 1-0 to Murphy. And he pops it up to the right side. Culberson
2 out. Nationals down to their final out. The Los Angeles Dodgers are headed to Chicago. Here it comes. He struck him out. And the Chicago Cubs, their quest to repeat begins in earnest in Los Angeles. And for the Washington Nationals, bitter October disappointment yet again. To the NLCS for the 3rd straight time.
Then you have to move on.
2 gone here in the 9th inning. That's it. And for the 3rd consecutive season, the Dodgers advance to the National League Championship Series.
On what might be Carlos Gonzalez's last at bat as a Rocky. He's caught them. Is the last guy between the Brewers and a sweep. He lifts one into right. Kane and Broxton. It'll be Kane, and that's that.
In the division series, Mama's enjoying every bit of this. Mama Flaherty seeing her son dominate Atlanta. There it is. The St. Louis Cardinals advance to the NLCS. The Cardinals beat the Braves in Game 5, 13-1. On the strength of a 10-run first inning, their 14th NLCS and the first since 2014.
Washington dugout.
Let's take another look at this. Tried to go a 2-seamer right here, trying to get that rollover. And Kendrick, as good as anybody, staying inside the ball and going the other way.
Behind second, and that is going to be caught by Michael A. Taylor. And the Washington Nationals have knocked out a heavyweight. In 10, they beat the Dodgers in Game 5.
Well, I think that ball bobbled around too, went up in the air, and he caught it to win.
And for the first time, the Nationals can celebrate, moving on to the National League Championship Series.